Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program. I'm your host, Mike King, coming to you from the cramped quarters of ESPN Richmond. This is not my studio. We are over here. We have some other folks in the studio recording today, but I'm feeling empowered. It's the Empower Hour. Tiffany Greene, hashtag the purpose princess is here. She even brought some. See, I knew Jennifer back. This was the nice Mike. That was back in the day. This is the old man Mike. Jennifer from Robin's Hope is here. Welcome to the program, ladies.
Welcome.
Alrighty. Here we can talk. Oh, here we go. I'm going to talk loud enough. Alrighty. So, Tiffany, tell folks who you are, what you do.
I am Tiffany Greene. I'm the founder of MPWRPeople, and MPWRPeople is a nonprofit that provides education, connection, and support to purpose and mission-driven leaders so they can drive positive impact, ergo, empower people.
Empower people. Jennifer, Robin's Hope.
Sure. Robin's Hope is a center that helps people who have been through overwhelming life experiences heal and move forward in their life, find a safe place to build connections with others. We offer groups that are free, both in person and online, to help people build resilience and find connections.
You know what just came to mind? I'd never see you without your partner.
Aha.
I'm like, are they the same person? Now you guys are two different people.
Oh.
Because normally, the amazing work that you guys do, a lot of times it can't just be one person.
No.
We were talking pre-pandemic. You guys grew. You survived the pandemic. What did you learn coming through the pandemic that you didn't do before, but you do it now?
The importance of a virtual program. So
you before
before pandemic, we were all in person in a teeny tiny room, needing to get bigger space. The pandemic just allowed us to go fully virtual. And when we were able to come back in person, we could get the bigger space. But we realized that there's folks that can't come to us that still need the help. And we're now reaching worldwide. People are Googling and finding us and coming from all over the place.
It's funny because you thought you guys were rocking and rolling pre-pandemic. You know, we're full. We're making a difference. The pandemic happens, and then all of a sudden, you realize we could help a lot more people. We don't have to worry about people just getting to us anymore.
True. We continue every month. We're growing still. So we're definitely starting to get the word out there, letting people know that they need the help. All of us have experienced something overwhelming in our lives, so it's a place to come and find that connection. And you're talking about my partner Heather, who is off doing other business stuff now that we're growing, but she brings the pure piece, the lived experience, and coming from her own background, and that comes together with my piece, which is the clinical piece and the trained social work experience, and that together creates an atmosphere where we bring the best of all worlds to help people get better in whatever ways they need.
So because I understood the clinical side, but I didn't understand the peer side until I met you guys. Someone who's walked in the shoes can have a better understanding as opposed to someone who's just saying, just stop.
Right. Well,
just
understanding and the ability to impart hope, right? If somebody who's been there and has progressed and found their recovery, they can offer a little bit more hope that things can get better than I could as a therapist, going, well, I know things can get better. I've seen other people get better. But when that person in front of you is like, I got better, you can too. It has a whole different impact.
Tiffany, what was it about Robin's Hope that really got you started?
Well, I first met Jennifer through the Chesterfield Chamber, and we were, I started with the nonprofit committee, right? And that's how I first met Jennifer, and that's how I first learned about Robin's Hope. And I too am a trauma survivor, so I really believed in their mission and vision. I've taken part in some of their events. I don't know if events is the right word. Programs, groups, yeah. And I think everybody needs that support, because when you survive something like a trauma, a lot of times you feel isolated, that nobody really understands what you're feeling or what you're going through. And so when you meet people who've also been experienced some trauma, you suddenly realize, hey, I'm not alone.
So, Jennifer, are we better now with understanding than we were some years ago? More compassionate?
I think overall the science is exploding in the trauma field and understanding what happens when within our neurology when something overwhelming happens. I think it's starting to get a little less stigmatized among people, um, but we still have a long way to go. The pandemic itself was a traumatic event, so helping people understand that we have literally all lived through a trauma in our lives. Some of us have more coping skills to deal with it. Some of us need more specific help. And making it that normal, that's the next level.
Making it normal.
Making it normal to talk about it because it's happening to all of us.
What age groups do you guys handle?
In the Robin's Hope, we serve 18 and up, and that's all group oriented. But we also have a program where we can do individual counseling for donation only, and that serves anyone from 5 up.
So, Tiffany, when you talk, this is a perfect example of a purpose-driven organization right here. There's a need for people who are out there, and a lot of times people don't know what they don't know, or a lot of times it may be, I may not feel anything bad, but I'm not going to look over there too hard because it may happen to me. And a lot of times maybe we're not being callous. We're just like, if I look over there too long, that can affect me in my house. And that's a devastating thing. So what was it about Robin's Hope from a purpose perspective that really intrigues you?
Because they know what their purpose is and they're on a mission to accomplish that purpose. And it is strong and they know their why. And so, and I feel like I'm aligned with their why. And so that's why I wanted to really support Robin's Hope and Intertouch. And I believe in everything that they're doing. And I think that, for a trauma survivor, I think a lot of times people will say, well, if it's bothering you, why don't you stop thinking about it? Did I say that? Because I've heard that. Okay. So, but the reality is if we could just flip that switch and stop thinking about that trauma, boy, wouldn't that be nice? But
See,
it doesn't work that way.
like I said, Tiffany, I don't know that man. I know some things. There was a doctor, and I worked in the hospital, so this is medical, factual information here. So,
Dr. King.
so yes, that's right, and not Martin Luther. This is Dr. Me. So the patient tells the doctor, "Hey, doc, when I lift my arm, it hurts."
Mm-hmm.
The doctor said, "Stop lifting your arm. Stop lifting your arm. How come I can't get better? Don't think about that trauma. If you don't think about it, it'll go away."
It'll come out in other ways.
And it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. Let's talk
I
about.
haven't met one person yet that's worked for, although every single person I've met has tried it.
They thought it away. I'm just going to think this thing away. How about, are men different?
Men are not different. The difference for guys is that they are less likely to come for help.
Definitely. There's a scientific fact for that, man.
There is.
There is. Now you're a real clinician. So this is something I figured out by being a man for a very long time. Two women can sit down and share their life story and bond over anything. Men have to do something hard and traumatic. Because anything short of that, how you doing, Bob? Fantastic. The wheels are coming off and everybody can see it. But we're not going to ask for help because from being little, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, man up, all those things. Are we being better with asking for help now than we were?
It's still a struggle. It is, however, one of those resilient skills that we teach is asking for help. So just the fact of making that step puts you on the path to recovery.
So anytime you call the VA, now it is constantly, are you thinking about suicide? Are you thinking about hurting yourself? That would have been unheard of years ago. When you go in, hey, are you housing challenges? Is anyone hurting you? Because you were just known that you could take care of yourself. We're just strong. We do it. And then all of a sudden, the rates of suicide go up, drug abuse goes up, all those things. So it is getting better, you say.
It is. There's more awareness. we still struggle, particularly for men, to come into congregate care to heal in a group. Goes against all that social conditioning of be strong, be independent, right? So we have to learn new skills. We have to learn that there's strength in numbers, right? Kind of have to go back to that military mentality. You didn't go out on the battlefield by yourself. You had a whole unit with you. We need a whole unit for the healing as well.
How about age categories for men? Let's see, this turned into a man therapy
Well,
session.
one thing I was going to say, I just had to throw in, and you're not going to be surprised that she said you need a whole unit for healing, right?
Yes.
What would I say? You need a whole ecosystem for healing.
Yes,
right? And I do think it's interesting you bring up that point because, when you're in that traumatic experience, as you were saying, like as a soldier, when not going to war, you have a whole team. You need
Yes.
that team, right? And a lot of gentlemen I know, women too, but since we're making this about Dr. Mike King,
Thank you, ladies and
a lot of guys play sports.
Yes.
Sports is a team sport. You don't go on the field. What you've learned to drop the ego and focus on what's best for the team and how to move forward and to succeed with the team. But then there's this big disconnect in the personal life. How sad is that?
Because so here's another burning question of the day. Like Stuart Smalley. No, sorry. There is no I in team. People say that all the time. There is not. But if I don't do my part, the team pays, and the team is going to be upset. So there's no I in team. But when I don't do my part, the team suffers. Mm-hmm. So now it may be you don't want the team to suffer, so you do your part. You don't want what may happen to you to become effective, but you're always going to pull yourself out by the bootstraps. And sometimes it's to the detriment of the team.
So in that regard, and I'll let Jennifer speak to this because she's the expert and I am not, but I would say for a lot of guys, right, they're thinking, well, I should be able to take care of my own problems. I don't need to burden other people because that's not the strong way to be.
That is true.
But what happens is that those feelings, whatever you're going through, is manifesting in other ways and it's coming out in other ways. And whatever team you're on, whether it be your family team, work team, friend team, they're feeling the weight of what you're going through and it's negatively impacting everybody around you.
I've been a medic for a very long time, and I didn't get the idea of put your oxygen mask on first. I just did. I didn't. It's, you know what? You put it, help them. Well, if you don't help you can't help them.
Well, one of the things that we've been really intentional about at Robin's Hope is creating a space that brings the ability to find your own recovery journey. So one of the things I think about for guys is stereotypically, they like to figure out the problem and work it through and then come and process.
Oh, yeah.
Where women more stereotypically process in order to work it through. So our groups are structured so you can come and you can just listen. You don't have to share your story. You don't have to talk. It's not like you're going to have to engage and feel uncomfortable. I also think about that need for competence where people don't like to engage unless they feel like they know what's going on. And if I'm struggling with trauma and I was trained as an engineer, I have no idea what's going on. I have no emotional language potentially. So coming to groups, I can just sit, I can listen, I can hear what other people are saying, which helps me start to go, oh, yeah, I identify with that. That makes sense. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, now I get it. And then when you start to get the framework for yourself, then you can jump in.
Well, can I say this? Because then you can tell me if I'm thinking about this wrong or maybe I'm making a false analogy here. But to me, Robin's Hope is kind of like the AA for trauma survivors. Because I think of AA as being people who have all this lived experience with alcoholism and supporting each other and trying to, have a better life, right? Or a healthy life in a way.
So the difference between us and a 12-step program is that we are more interactive. So my understanding with 12-step is you share, but there's not a culture where people are giving you feedback. Well, with our groups, there is feedback. You can say you don't want it, or they can ask before they give it, but we do have that interactive component. And then with the clinicians in the mix, you also get some of that therapeutic content that you might not get in a purely peer run program. So we bring the best of all worlds. So we've got all these people who have their own lived experience who are bringing in what they've learned from their treatment team. So now we've got room full of like 20, 30 treatment providers and 20 people with their own lived experience. And all of that wisdom gets circulated and you find what fits for your own individual experience.
One of my Robin Soap is here, Tiffany Greene, talking mental health, substance abuse, things of that nature, and purpose, being a purpose-driven organization. Is there a difference with age groups? I had asked you about men. Do people in their 20s think about it different than, say, people in their 50s and 60s?
I think definitely people in their 20s and 30s are much more open to seeking help and using therapy. I saw a meme once which really summed it up. It was like, you know, the 50-year-olds are like, oh my gosh, she's going to a therapist. And the 20-year-olds are like, oh my God, my therapist told me. And that's really it. There's been a seismic shift in the generations that make it acceptable to seek help.
Yay!
Yeah, which is a great thing.
Tiffany Greene, how can people find you out there, ma'am? Empower people.
Empower People, empowerpeople.org, MPWRPeople.org. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and they can reach me at TJ Greene at empowerpeople.org.
And
Hashtag Empower People.
Empower people. Jennifer, how can people find information about Robin Soap?
We are at www.robinshope.com. We are on LinkedIn, Insta, and Facebook.
Robin Soap.
Robin's Hope.
You guys help a lot of people. What does Robin's Hope need?
We need donations, financial. If people are interested in serving on a board and want to be engaged in a place that is being innovative and growing, we're looking for board folks. And if you're someone who needs service, come on in and check us out or check us out online.
So if a person needs help, say a family member sees a person they need help, what do? They, family member sees it not like an intervention, but someone needs some help. What does a family member do? Because it's a tough.
That is a very tough question, and it's a very individualized answer because there are a lot of barriers to family members getting help for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I would say always let them know that we are around. And for the person that knows they need help themselves, it's as easy as going to robinshope.com, clicking the calendar link on the virtual calendar. If you see something that's interesting at the time of that group, you click on that link. The Zoom link is right embedded in there, and click, you're in. That's it. You don't have to register. You don't have to sign up. You just show up. Just show up.
You guys are at so many things. I didn't even know you had a real location. Because you were out in the community always talking about Robin Soap and the amazing things that you're doing, like I said, so I didn't know what you're doing. Tiffany Greene, so what do you have coming up that is important that folks need to know about?
Everything we do is important, Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, everything with Tiffany Greene. You don't see that, but there's a soapbox on the side regarding a previous conversation, but we're going to leave that one alone. So what important information would you like to share with our listeners and viewers? Hashtag.
So we have a course tomorrow with Kaisha McRae on managing accountability, which is a great course, right? Because we're about to go into 2024. Let's get that accountability right. Let's start thinking about that and holding each other accountable. So when we go into 2024 and we want to achieve those goals, we're holding ourselves accountable to do that, right? So that's tomorrow at 1:00. Okay. And then we don't have any more courses for remainder of this year due to the holiday season. So starting in January, we have other courses coming up, Risk Management 101 with Millie Corsoro. And we have a DEI course, and this is for all sizes. So if you're a one-person business to hundreds, we got Dr. Christine Fusilier, who's going to be offering a course on how to institute that into your business. And then we obviously have the Empower Hour the first Wednesday of January with you. And Dr. Christine Fusilier is going to be joining us for that as well.
Shout out to Dr. Fusilier over at Bryan and Stratton. She is the educational leader there. Alrighty, so a lot of amazing things happening. Jennifer, one last time, how can people find information out about Robin Soap?
robinshope.com. Check it out and get in touch with us through the website.
Tiffany Greene?
Hashtag empower people, MPWRPeople.
Right. The cool way of empower people. M, not
The cool people say it
not
that
the
way.
old stuffy man.
Who
King.
spells anything out these days? Who spells all the letters out? Nobody does. Hey, when you text me back, you say THX, so I'm proud of you.
No, I don't. No, I put the A and N.
I thought I just said the
No, I
THX.
know. Ma'am, no. On the mic is Mike. I'm just being a minor rebel. I'm not going full-fledged rebel out there with just 3 letters and a person would think they know what that means. THANX.
Got it. Well, you've come a long way. It's 4 letters.
You can teach,
MPWR.
ladies and gentlemen, you can teach an old dog new tricks.
We'll get
No,
there.
really, exactly. Nothing big. Baby steps. We got to go. These ladies out there changing the world, and they're not in there fooling around, just doing whatever in here. The panel, the Empower panel, that is a cool group, and you'll get great information out of that. So empower people. Jennifer is here. Robin. So you got to go. Take care, folks. Thanks, man.